What's up, Rad Fam? Today we are diving back into the world of creepy conspiracy theories, but today we are focusing specific. Okay, well today's off to a great start. We're gonna be oh my goodness, we're gonna be looking at creepy AF childhood show conspiracy theories. That was a weird way of describing it, but basically, I just want to ruin all your childhood favorite TV shows. So let's get to it. And we got Mr. Charlie here. Can you see him? He's here. He's ready to go. Oh my goodness. I love a good conspiracy theory that makes you look at some of your childhood memories differently. Oh, I'm gonna love this video. Hey Arnold was a show that I loved growing up. I really didn't get much of a say in my household because I have two older brothers of what we watched on TV, but thankfully we pretty much agreed on everything, or I just didn't watch TV. But I really liked Hey Arnold, so maybe I won't after this one. I'm sure it's gonna make me real sad because the title's called Hey Arnold is actually all about Helga and her depressing life. Fun. You think this show called Hey Arnold is about Arnold, but Redditor I Smoke the XS, that's a very interesting username, bud, has pondered whether it's secretly about Helga, the angry bully who picked on Arnold by calling him football head, but was actually secretly in love with him. Not so much of a secret though. She's very obvious. I think he was just too dense. Before you dismiss this as a silly thought, remember that it's actually Helga that shouts Hey Arnold repeatedly in the intro, and she's the only person that has her own monologue in every episode. Everything that we see is told via her viewpoint. What? I never noticed that. Everything was told via her viewpoint? Really? Now I feel like I have to go back and rewatch the show to see this because I don't remember that being a part of the show. Is that? No, there were parts where it was just Arnold. Yeah. Let's keep reading. Helga's life is pretty depressing, hence her need to bully to the one person she loves the most. That's really sad. Her father's neglectful. He simply refers to her as the girl. Her mother is an alcoholic, and her older sister Olga is adored. That is something that they made pretty prevalent in the show, that her older sister was the favorite, that was sad. That's really not right for parents to pick a favorite child, like maybe in their head, okay? Like that's okay, you can keep it to yourself. But like in the case of this TV show where they completely neglected Helga, she would go off and do her own thing and no one cared about her. And yeah, her dad did refer to her as the girl. That's not nice. That's really, really sad. Oh, wow. You know, they say people that bully other people though, it's because like that's how they are treated, so they like don't know any better, or like they need an outlet for their aggression. So I mean that kind of fits, right? Ugh, that's so sad. And so maybe the show is all about Helga's obsession with Arnold and how she manages to get through her horrid life through her love for him, explaining the show's title and the weird amount of screen time for Arnold despite being a secondary character. Oh wow, that's very interesting. I mean, not so much creepy. Sad, certainly, but I wouldn't actually say creepy. I guess what is creepy about this theory, though, is how it makes me look at the show completely differently. Now I want to go back and rewatch the show and like look for like little pieces maybe that make this conspiracy theory like all that much more convincing. Ooh, that was a good one. Rugrats, I would say, is like the most influential, is that the right word? I don't know. Kids show that I remember growing up watching. I loved the show. I loved the movies. I really loved how like it came on like the orange VHS tape for like the Nickelodeon. We probably watched that 100 times. There's a few conspiracy theories about Rugrats, and I had actually come across this one that we're about to read quite a while ago, like a few years ago. And when I read it, it messed me up, yo. Like I legit just like could not even process it because I didn't even want it to be true because it was just so sad. So let's get reading. The theory that Rugrats was a result of Angelica's imagination doesn't sound all that dark at first. Yes, it does. What? That completely sounds dark. Until you delve into the reasoning behind it and the way the characters believe. Apparently, Chucky died with his mother and Tommy was stillborn, which is why Chucky's father is a nervous wreck and Tommy's father is always making toys for a son that never had a chance to live. That is so creepy and heartbreaking, and oh my goodness. That is so sad. How do people even like come up with these ideas? Like, are they like setting out on a mission just to like ruin the show for everybody? And the DeVelles had an abortion, but Angelica didn't know whether it would have been a boy or a girl, so she created the twins, Phil and Lil. I guess kids do like pick up when adults talk, maybe more so than we would initially think. But I don't know, that's a lot for a little kid to overhear, process, and understand enough to make an imagination fantasy off of it. It gets worse. Oh, great. How wonderful. You know, I purposely try to film in the middle of the night when there's no sounds, and it's trash night. Charlie, is that spooky? Are those noises spooking you out? The theory also includes the spin-off All Grown Up. Oh, I haven't read this one before. Because it states that Angelica was a bipolar schizophrenic who got addicted to drugs as a teenager, leading her to recreating her childhood in an imaginary world, and because of the time lapse, her creations were older. Oh, and she died of an overdose when she was 13 at the end of All Grown Up. Wow, that is probably the most depressing conspiracy theory of a cartoon show I've ever heard in my entire life. And, you know, I thought the first part was bad enough, but man, they just really wanted to just stick it to you. They really wanted to give you a punch in the gut to just ruin your childhood with that second part. Okay, now this one is about Spongebob, and I cannot talk today. This one's about Spongebob, and specifically it's about Mr. Krabs. And if you watch Spongebob, you know Mr. Krabs was just like one mysteriously interesting character. And I always say that because, like, he was making a little too much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Like, he ran a successful business, but I always felt like there was like a dark side of Mr. Krabs. Like, maybe he's doing some like money laundering, or he's working with like some undersea cartel. I feel like there was always a little bit more to his story, especially because he was a single dad. So like, what was that whole storyline about? And like the way he like spoiled his daughter was, I don't know. I always felt like there's a little something, a little more to Mr. Krabs than what the show led on. And apparently this conspiracy theory picked up on that too. This fan theory is unsurprisingly not a favorite. According to a Reddit thread, Mr. Krabs is only raising his whale daughter Pearl to eventually kill her and use her for Krabby Patty meat. Okay, that's dark. Did not see that coming, because she is like the apple of his eye. Why would he want to murder her? Then maybe that's why he gave her such special treatment. He wanted to like justify maybe, or like lessen his guilt for wanting to murder her. This Redditor points out that when a whale dies, its carcass can fuel an entire ecosystem for a very long period of time. Pearl's mother is non-existent in the show, and it's unclear as to how or why Mr. Krabs has Pearl in the first place. That's something I've wondered too, because it's like, he's a crab, she's a whale. Maybe adoption exists in Bikini Bottom, and that's wonderful. So maybe that's what happened. Or he stole her. She could truly be his daughter, or Mr. Krabs could just be putting up with Pearl's crazy spending habits because he has bigger goals in mind. This could also partially explain Plankton's role in the series. Plankton is obsessed with figuring out the secret ingredient to Krabby Patties, and while most ingredients are readily available, it's very true. Literally, you see SpongeBob make the Krabby Patties 100 times in the show. But it's that secret ingredient. The burger itself remains a mystery. Whales generally consume plankton, so was this just a sinister clue all along? That one, while very interesting, dark, and incredibly creepy, I feel like that one's a little bit of a stretch, because he treats her like a princess, and I feel like he's just gonna kill her to harvest her. It's really disturbing. Then wouldn't he have done it already? Because like, she's kind of annoying. So why would he continue to put up with that if his ulterior motive was to use her? I do think there could be a really creepy conspiracy theory, though, about how he got her as a daughter. Like, maybe he stole her. Maybe he killed her mom. Or I guess maybe, yeah, maybe he just does this a lot and he moves from place to place, and like he gets a whale and kills it and uses it for Krabby Patties. Oh, that's really disturbing. Okay, so this one is clearly about Ash from Pokemon, and apparently he's in a coma, which I guess would make sense because it's like these fantasy creatures and him remaining a child for a very strangely amount of time. Very strangely amount of time. What is the words coming out of my mouth? It's fair to say that he's been in a coma all along could easily apply to almost any story. That is true. That is a common conspiracy theory that you'll find about almost anything. It's that someone's in a coma, someone's in purgatory, someone died, someone's, you know, hallucinating, someone's dreaming. Like, there's, like, that is a very easy out, especially because a lot of these shows are fantasy based, so you can just be like, oh, well, clearly it's not real life, but like, it's also a cartoon, so like, of course it's not real life, and this is also a cartoon, and this is a conspiracy theory about a cartoon. So Take away what you will. But Ash from Pokemon proves that for him, it's a very real possibility. When Ash is hit by lightning towards the beginning of the Pokemon series, fans noticed that the timing of the story, along with many other things, suddenly changed. I didn't notice that, but then again, while this was on the TV a lot when I was growing up, I never really like sat down and like watched the storyline enough to follow it. You know what I mean? Like I would just like see episodes here and there, scenes from this and that. Because like my brothers were obsessed with this show. They even had like the cards. Oh my gosh, I remember those big binders that they would have. But like, so I don't really know enough to really know if this conspiracy theory makes any sense. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments. But back to reading. Ash going into a coma after his accident would explain a lot of strange occurrences in his world. Like why he sees the exact same police officer and nurse in every town. Okay, like even I've noticed that. Or why the Pokemon world seems to grow bigger and more intricate the longer he stays in the coma. If this is all true, would Ash even want to wake up anyways? He'd effectively lose everything he loves. Ooh, that's really, okay, that's where the creepy spin comes, right? Well, I mean, I guess him being in a coma, it was like sad. I guess some people would consider creepy. What happens if like he's choosing to stay in his coma state because he prefers the world he's created to the real world? Because like if he's in a coma, what traumatic thing happened to get him to the coma? Is that, you know? Oh, wow, that's really sad. And so, like, that's why he doesn't grow up. And, like, the world getting more and more detailed because he has more and more time in this world to think of things. I would almost want to believe this because it makes the show, I feel like, just, like, have, like, a completely like, dark side to it. But I feel like it needs a little bit more. There needs to be a little bit more meat for me to want to believe this conspiracy theory, you know? Here's another conspiracy theory about SpongeBob, and this one, again, I had heard in the past, and this one, I think this one, of all the conspiracy theories that we're going to cover, makes the most sense, if you can say that. I don't know, let's read. Bikini Bottom is the result of a nuclear testing. Ever wonder why Bikini Bottom in SpongeBob SquarePants is so weird? One fan theory offers an explanation as to why Sponge would be talking in the first place. That Bikini Bottom is aptly named due to the location of the bottom of Bikini Atoll. If you're not a history buff, the Bikini Atoll is an atoll in the Marshall Islands between 1946 and 1958. More than 20 nuclear devices were detonated in the area, including bombs that were detonated underwater. See, like that is a conspiracy theory that makes sense. There's like background in like the real world for like the inspiration for the story to be pulled from. Since there are so many nuclear tests happening in this concentrated area and the names line up, that like, you know, the what's called like the nuclear waste in the water has actually mutated these creatures. So, I don't know, that makes sense. I like that one. I don't really, is that creepy? I mean, I guess the idea of nuclear testing creating these creatures is kind of creepy, because like the idea of a talking sponge and a talking starfish is, I guess, unsettling. Have you ever seen the pictures of like the artist renditioning of if SpongeBob was real? Let me pull that up for you because that's straight up nightmare fuel. Look how terrifying this is. Oh my gosh. That is even Hanson Squidward. That is straight up nightmare fuel. This is terrifying. I hate this. Oh my god. Okay, first off, this episode that this is inspired by is the scariest episode of a kids TV show to ever exist, and I will fight you on that one, okay? Because like, ooh, like I hate this. I hated this episode so much as a kid, and like I even played a game that was based off of this episode, and like, it's creepy. It's very creepy. I hated it. So yeah, there's a good old dose of nightmare fuel for you guys. If you didn't think that conspiracy theory was scary enough, maybe these plethora of pictures will do it for you. This is the internet that I don't want. Please take it back. Now this one is about the Care Bears, and I don't think I watched that at all growing up. But you know, if you did, maybe this will resonate with you. The Care Bears is voodoo masquerading as children's entertainment. Okay, like, even though I might not have watched the Care Bears, or at least I don't remember watching it, I feel like I at least know enough about the Care Bears to where that is how. According to at least one writer, the Care Bears is the absolute height of voodoo infiltration in children's entertainment. Start with the name first. Who can deny the similarity between the name Care Bears and Carrefours? The district of Port-au-Prince, which is the heart of the voodoo world. Care Bears and Carrefours. I mean, I guess, maybe, kinda. I'll give it to you. Can the Cloud City of Carolot be anything but an idealized holy city of the Loa, a divine reflection of Care Force, then consider something of the terminology. The Care Bears constantly want to share until you care, just as the Loa want to share the bodies of their worshippers. I guess. A little bit of stretch, but like, I guess I could kind of see it maybe. Leave it to someone on the internet to want to change like the spreading of the sharing is caring, be nice to other people, give what you can, you know, teaching that to children and wanting to twist it into something dark and creepy and, you know, wanting to share bodies. I'm interested in that, by the way, though, because, like, what does that mean? The Care Bears are constantly trying to be children's friends. I don't know why they did quotes, but I did that too. Just as the Voodoo Loa are often referred to by their followers as friendly spirits or just friends. Oh, well, they're friendly. Is that creepy? I don't think that's creepy though, because like, I mean, I guess it could be creepy. I don't know much about voodoo traditions and practices, so I can't really make a judgment on that. I mean, the idea of like someone sharing a body with me, I'm not too fond on that, but I mean, I could see how other people might find it, like the connection to not be creepy. So here is just some conspiracy theories about kids' cartoon shows. What do you guys think? Did any of these make sense to you? If so, which one? Have you heard of another one that I didn't share in this video? Let me know down below so we can talk about more, because it's the internet. There are lots more. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please remember to give it a big thumbs up. It helps out this channel. It helps out this video. It helps out this community. And until next time, keep up the radness, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye. I do remember the Care Bear toys, and like when you would like squeeze them, they would talk, and sometimes they'd like light up and stuff. That was unsettling, like when you were sleeping in your room in the middle of the night and then like one of those toys in your toy box would just go off and you're just like, what was that?